welcome to a special Poultry Inc. episode. I'm your host Ian Nudger Novak, or Gallo Loco on this channel, and with me usually is Mr. Nick.
Nicholas Chicken.
Sorry for the delay of videos, but we have been going to the movies, and we have seen ones this last month, and so, in fact, we have a total of 12 that we're going to quickly talk about, which is what I'm entitling as a special segment as Quick Dozen. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning of this year with January to February and now a little bit of March. As we're getting closer to April, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, April. Not great.
Prime time of movies.
Not great with months. So we're just going to go into some quick details and stuff about what we thought about them. We're going to try not to spend too much time since we have 12 to talk about, but there will be certainly ones we might talk just a little bit about more. But the first one is, if you remember it, Kid and King Arthur. What was it? Kid Who Would Become King, the next King Arthur adaptation.
Yeah.
I didn't have high expectations for this, but it was okay. It was kind of funny sometimes, but still not my favorite Arthur interpretation. I still enjoy Excalibur a bit more, especially as I've gotten older, and I don't know, does Monty Python count?
Some people would think so, I think.
It was completely harmless, just okay. I did get a good chuckle every once in a while. Patrick Stewart was pretty decent in it, even though he wasn't in it a whole lot.
Strangely awkward, but funny.
Yeah. The actual kid that actually played the young Arthur, I thought was actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
I hope he gets more.
I'm still debating on whether he's related to Andy Serkis. His last name is Serkis, and he kind of looks like him, I think.
I don't know.
I didn't really look into it, but it'd be pretty cool.
But as far as the film itself, enjoyable, but I don't feel like I'd run out to buy it, so I'm gonna give it a B-.
Yeah. Again, like him, I didn't really have a lot of expectations for it. The trailer was certainly bland, so you didn't really know what you were getting into, and then you saw it, and I thought it was actually okay. And there were parts that I enjoyed, and there were parts you kind of sat there like, oh, I'm kind of bored. But it's definitely a family film, more family oriented. So if you had a family and go see it, that's all I gotta say about it. Patrick Stewart was good. I'd probably give it a B.
Yeah. Next up is They Shall Not Grow Old. Ooh. The very ambitious Peter Jackson documentary where he took actual footage and digitally enhanced it from World War II. I would say that the very beginning was kind of a slow build up to it, but once you actually then get into the war, it got way better and really interesting and actually really exciting to see like actual footage of it being digitally enhanced and the actual commentary being actually former members that went to war. And then there was like a 30-minute behind the scenes thing with Peter Jackson about how they actually put it together, which I would definitely say is a recommend to check that out, because that was a process. Going to New Zealand, going all these places, and just then seeing like Peter Jackson's actual collection of World War II was just like, basically think about what he has, that's what Guillermo del Toro has of horror stuff. But this was a very good challenge for Peter, I think, and the creators that digitally enhanced this. It was a really interesting experience in the theater too, to hear these actual sounds and gunfire and see like actually how it really worked, not the Hollywood way. I don't necessarily know exactly rewatchability this has as far as being on a smaller screen, but I might check it out at some point when it's a little bit not as much that I'd have to spend to see like how I feel about it. But as far as the theater experience and learning a bit more about it and seeing the actual footage, I'm gonna give They Shall Not Grow Old a A-.
Yeah, and just to throw this in, looked like there were a couple of veterans in the theater we were in, which is pretty cool. But as far as the movie goes, I think it was a technical achievement. That 30 minutes you watched afterwards, you saw all the hours they had to watch, all the sounds they had to recreate, all the sounds, the voices they had to make. Some of the voices, they had a lot of lip readers, I should say, and they had to, you know, watch it. I don't know how many times to actually get what they were saying, which is, it took a lot of time. So I really appreciate Peter Jackson and them taking the time to do that and to make the movie right. And it definitely pays tribute to the sacrifice of that generation, in my opinion. And boy, it was. Some parts were harder to watch than others, and for obvious reasons. But I thought the movie was fantastic, and I'd give it an A- as well. I had a great time watching it, and probably will be buying it at some point.
Okay, and let's see here. The next one up, technically for me, but I'm not gonna really divulge into it because it came out last year. I saw Aquaman again because it was a birthday present for my mom. And just a quick note here, since we didn't talk about it, I give Aquaman a B. But that's not really what I'm going to dive into next. The next one up for us is, I have a feeling you have some strong feelings about this one. It is Lego Movie 2. Yes, this had a lot to live up to, but because the first Lego movie was amazing, and it was a shame that it wasn't up for Best Animated or even Best Picture, in my opinion. Lego Batman was also awesome. Will Arnett has been now proclaimed to be the new best Batman almost. Then you get Lego Ninjago, which didn't really leave an impact for a lot of people. Like me, I thought it was fine, generic, but it didn't really win me over. And I kind of think that we've been kind of getting now oversaturated a little bit with Lego's movies because there's the TV show, then there's also all these direct-to-movie stuff, which is why Ninjago was in the theater. But the animation has always been really good. So yeah, there was high expectations, yet we've been getting so much, it's kind of they've been losing their steam. This one, I honestly thought it was okay. I laughed in it. I still thought the animation was good. The story was still pretty well what they always want to try to tell us. And that's about it. Will I get this when it's probably like $5 just to add to the Lego collection because I don't have Ninjago, but this is at least connecting a story. So I'm gonna give Lego Movie 2 a B-.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It wasn't near as fun as the first one, man. I went into this thinking, it might not be as good to be like around it, but some of the stuff that was in the movie was really, the humor was dull. I felt like I'd heard it before. Some of the stuff that they chose to do as far as like relationships were really awkward to me. I did not like Tiffany Haddish's character. I thought that was not needed, and the whole thing with her and Batman was really awkward. And but some of the jokes were alright, I laughed here and there, but this is definitely underwhelming, and guarantee you this is not going to get up for any awards. And I'm going to give it a C. And I think they need to stop the Lego movies here. They should have stopped with one, but
then we wouldn't have had Batman.
Well, okay, Batman. Stop somewhere in there. They should have never done these last two, in my opinion.
Well,
and if this is any indication of what the future holds, Lego Movie 2, then I think it's just going to go downhill.
Well, I don't think they are going to be making any more because the Lego Ninjago and Part 2 have not made as much money.
Lego Movie 2 did not make hardly any money from what I read, which is fine by me.
Sorry about this.
It's okay, you got 12 movies to freaking go through.
Next one up, for me anyway, I saw this alone, and it was The Prodigy. A little small horror movie that made it into our theaters for a little bit. This was actually kind of surprising to me. I actually thought the kid was actually pretty good and creepy in it. There wasn't a whole lot of jump scares. I just felt like some of the weaker stuff was the actual story because it's like, yes, serial killer getting reincarnated as soon as a baby is born. Well, if you don't mind going with that, you might have a good time.
You got to think about the kid who was the Georgie.
So. Yeah, that's another positive about this, that he's getting other work. The relationship with the mom and dad was okay, but it wasn't terrible. There was, however, one scene where it was really throwing reference to Exorcist with the whole "your mother sucks cocks in hell," but I'm not gonna repeat it because
your mother sucks cocks in hell.
But I'm not gonna actually say what he says because it's actually funnier. And if you want to hear it, you have to watch the movie. But I was actually surprised by this. There still was annoying people in the theater, which there always are. So I would give The Prodigy a B. Do you have any interest to check it out?
I mean, I probably will. It just wasn't in theaters long enough, and I didn't have a lot of time around then to go see it. So, not that I didn't want to see it, just it wasn't really high up in the priority list.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff around too.
Yeah.
Next one up is Alita: Battle Angel. I'm gonna admit I didn't find this terrible. CGI and stuff were really great. I thought the actual woman they got to play Alita was pretty good.
Yeah, a couple of the scenes, man, I was just mesmerized by how good it looked.
But that's kind of where I fall, because then, like, a lot of the actual characters around Alita, I didn't really care for. It wasn't just them; it was the way it was written. And Mahershala Ali appearing as like what you would think is the villain, but he's really not. Christoph Waltz, I thought he's always serviceable at worst. I thought he was just okay in this.
And what I got out of Jennifer Connelly was she's still smoking hot. So
yeah, but there was really nothing else.
I know.
She was in there and out. And another kind of problem for me with this was the fact that it was written to be a setup movie, because this is a manga and anime. They're just like, we're just gonna throw all this stuff in, not explain anything, and use all these same tropes, and just hope that we make enough money to get a sequel. And as far as I don't know if they have actually made enough for a sequel, because I heard it was doing not as good, but then it bounced back up in China. But I don't know if it just falls under the fact of that the writing is really important to me, and it really didn't strike me as the type of movie that I always want to go to see. At least visually it was impressive. That's all I can give it. Will I buy it? I don't know. Depends on if there's a sequel or not, and let's see how that goes. But for the moment, I'm going to be giving Alita: Battle Angel a C+.
It's kind of a hard movie to gauge, just because the moving parts are really good, but the brain of it, isn't quite as good. So, special effects were freaking awesome. I really like the main girl. Christoph Waltz I always think he's great, even if he gets put in crappy situations sometimes. But Mahershala Ali, love the guy. His role was weird in this movie, but you know what? I went into it not really knowing a lot about it, and I came out thinking it was okay, and I kind of want to watch it in 4K, just to see the visuals. So I'm going to give it a B-. It wasn't too bad.
Okay. Next one up is Fighting with My Family. This is the biopic of the documentary called, I believe, The Wrestlers, which is actually on YouTube, where you can actually watch it, which is a documentary about WWE superstar Paige's family that actually wrestled and had their own wrestling company in England. I'm very torn about this, because I thought there was actually some really good writing. I thought Nick Cross was the funniest thing in this as her dad. I loved the part when he was like telling another wrestler, will he take this hit to the head with this object? It was like, yeah, he will. Uh, Even if it's a bad movie, I still think Nick Frost always gets a laugh out of me. The actress that they got to play Paige herself, I thought looked a lot like her, and she actually wasn't that bad. Um, Vince Vaughn was surprisingly pretty funny and actually kind of serious at moments, which I don't see a lot from you. But where I start to have issues with it are that I don't know how much of this is actually the like story, because it felt like she was rushed through NXT, which is a big part of her coming up to the WWE. And at the parts where she is in NXT, I'm like, did she actually do that? I don't know if she doesn't come across that she would have done that. The same writer and director also makes an appearance in this.
Steve Merchant.
The best thing to me in this was the connection and the relationship between her and her brother, who he was also trying to be a wrestler for WWE, and I thought maybe they should have focused more on that. The Rock, who is also a producer, I mean, it's The Rock. He's funny. I did like how that the TV spot that we kept seeing all the time was actually longer than what it actually was, because I was just like, am I just going to hear the same jokes again? No, he got better. And I know that he was a big part of Paige coming up to WWE. And a giant part for me as a fan that was kind of disappointing was the final part, because I felt like they really didn't imagine AJ Lee that well. And it's not like you don't have rights to these characters; they are your characters. And the people in NXT that she bonds with, apparently, I felt were like, yes, this is supposed to be Charlotte. This is kind of looking like Eve Torres. This is looking like Alexa Bliss. And it's like, well, why not just? I don't know. When it's a biopic and the actual company is making it and they don't even use the actual characters, I'm just like, why not? So in the long end, this is a sometimes entertaining, passable movie, but I don't think I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna give it a C minus.
Well, I'm completely on the opposite side. I really enjoyed this movie. See, for me, Paige is a up and down person for me. You know, I liked her in-ring abilities and stuff like that, but some of the stuff she did outside of the company kind of, you know, made her have a bad rep. And as far as outside of that goes, what?
She's also like 23, so
Hey,
she's gonna make mistakes.
it is what it is, but you know, she did what she did, and she can't take it back now. So, and then now her career is over. But yeah, the movie was pretty funny, man. Nick Frost was great. I thought Vince Vaughn was pretty good. The Rock was awesome. Jack Loudon, who played Zach, her brother, was really good. And I thought the girl that played Paige was awesome. I think they got her to look pretty damn close to Paige, in my opinion. And you know, the film wasn't perfect, but I thought, you know, they could have done things differently. But I enjoyed it all the way through. Didn't care too much about the people not being the people. I understand where you would see that, but I knew AJ Lee wouldn't come back for the role, so they had to do something about it. So, you know what? I gave the film a B plus. I will be buying it, and you know what? I thought it was good.
You're entitled to that. Next one up, a very highly anticipated animated picture. No, not Toy Story 4. How to Train Your Dragon 3, or How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I starting this off, I really dug the first one. I did kind of start to wonder that if it was kind of getting overhyped by all the positives that it was getting to me, because it was like, it's like the best thing ever. Like, is it? It was pretty good. The sequel then I actually thought developed the characters a bit more, and it got a bit more serious and stuff, and I thought it got better. So I actually really enjoyed the second one. And then this third one now comes along, which I'm kind of hoping it's the last one, but I'm kind of worried that's not. Um, Takes that and continues. It develops the characters. I like what they did with Hiccup and Toothless. That is still the relationship in this that is strong and is compelling. Um, and I'm going to give this film a lot of credit for something. It did not mind recasting a certain voice because that certain somebody turned out to be kind of not great. That was T.J. Miller. But they found somebody that sounded like him, and it's okay. Um, the animation I thought was really good. One of the reasons why I think that this always does look great, especially all the flying stuff, is the fact that Roger Deakins is a consultant for cinematography, and he's one of the greatest that has ever lived. So, who recently won an award for Blade Runner 2049. So, I can see why this looks so good. I again just want to feel like this is a perfect stamp of no, don't continue, stop. There was a little bit of humor with Jonah Hill's character that I didn't really get. Them like kind of pursuing Hiccup's mom. It was kind of getting weird. But I thought that one of the other side people I thought had a really hilarious scene with the villain. Which again to me was a kind of another weak-ish element. He wasn't that great, but he wasn't bad. And I thought also the relationship that Toothless has with the Light Fury was really cute and really well done, and with actually a lot of long takes of silence, so that was actually kind of impressive. This is just another really great, solid trilogy of animation. You're gonna really push it if you go for a fourth one. We'll see how that fourth one for Toy Story goes. But I'm going to give How to Train Your Dragon, Hidden World, an A-.
It's very rare when a trilogy is really good, and I think this is definitely one of those, along with the lines of like Toy Story. Not as good though, but I think the first one is still my favorite, and then the second one was like right under that, and the third one's like right along the lines of two. But yeah, it was really good. The relationships were good. I thought it was hilarious. Animation was great. Again, if you like the first two, you're gonna like this one basically. So I'd give it a B plus.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, next is another smaller one that maybe people know about, and that's Greta. A throwback to the stalker horror genre elements, I guess, is what I'm going to go with. The only real person I know that was in this was Chloe Grace Moretz. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the woman that ends up stalking her.
Isabel.
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 I thought as far as acting, Isabel was the best in this. She actually was kind of creepy at some moments.
She gave me goosebumps, alright? There was one part where she was like standing outside of the restaurant, just dead silent, just standing there. And I was like, alright.
I thought Chloe was okay in it. I don't want to sound like this, but she said that she was from Boston, and yet she didn't have a Boston accent. So, pardons to anybody from Boston, but if everybody has an accent, she didn't. But again, the weak part of this is the story and the writing and making the characters do certain things. Kind of started to really ruin it for me. Isabel is the only thing I'm going to take away as a big positive from this. I thought she was really good. But as far as rewatchability, I'm gonna mark that down now. So I'm gonna be giving Greta a C-.
Yeah. Other than that part where I got freaked out by her, I didn't get really retained too much from the movie. It lost me at parts and was like kind of like sporadic spurts of what the hell's going on, and I got lost. But Chloe, she's a party girl, but
hit girl.
Yeah, come from that to this, but yeah, didn't have a lot of expectations going into it, and we saw it. It was like Friday night where there was like nothing really else on, so I was like, oh, let's see Greta.
We were like, well, what's out there? Oh, there's Greta. I want something to do.
Yeah.
Which is what now falls under us sometimes. We're like, oh, what do we gotta do? Let's go see Greta, I guess.
I didn't think Chloe and Isabel really had like a great film connection. I don't know how else you say that. And I gave it a D plus. I mean, wasn't really expecting it to be great, but I was pretty disappointed by it.
I didn't have much expectation, so that's what I left with. Okay, well, this next one, we can kind of accidentally run into something here on the internet for talking about it. So maybe let's try to be as discreet as possible. And that's Captain Marvel. Okay, going on record here. We're not misogynists. We actually want more female-led superhero movies. And you know what? Going into this, I didn't care what Brie Larson did. I don't care what she said, mostly because I didn't actually look at it. I just saw a little snippet of something she said, and the way that she said it, but that's all that I went into this with. I just walked into it going, it's a Marvel movie, and it's a superhero movie. I just want a good movie. I don't care about the politics. That being said, Brie Larson was not that great. And I don't know if I blame her or I blame the directors, because all that they have done is TV work. And it was a man and a woman. And so equal cooperation there. However, Samuel L. Jackson, I thought was pretty good as Nick Fury. He got the most laughs out of me. The de-aging CGI on him I thought was really nice and worked a lot. Jude Law I thought was... I saw what was going there. That's the thing that happens because this takes place in the 90s, technically. So we kind of know everything that's supposed to divulge from the Creed and stuff going into this. Rowan's in this. Is he really?
Yeah, Lee Pace made his presence known.
What's his name? The cat. Best thing in it. He was the best thing in it. He had the biggest laugh for me at one point. Ben Mendelsohn.
It's by far my favorite. I think he stole the show.
Well, at first I was worried because I'm like, okay, Ben Mendelsohn's the villain again. Let's see, he goes from Ready Player One to Robin Hood. Now to this. Well, since it's been out for a while, spoiler alert, he actually wasn't the villain, and they actually made a compelling character.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
Pretty good makeup on him.
Yeah, he was great.
Other than some of the cliches and stuff like that, my other biggest issue is that Captain Marvel has been made to be a very, very powerful person, and I hope that they don't go in a certain direction that I hope they don't go in with her as far as Endgame. But again, as far as it still maybe being one of the weaker ones for me as far as the Marvel lineup, it's still entertaining. I still don't mind watching it once in a while to just watch the whole lineup. But this wasn't a home run, and it's kind of... So I'm going to give Captain Marvel a C.
Wow.
I think that Brie will be better because she actually can act. She just needs actual directors. Russo's will make her better. I want to admit.
Well, I didn't look at anything Brie had done before this, so I didn't really care as much as other people at work were portraying it to be. So going into it, I was like, okay, I love Marvel. I'm gonna go into it as that. And well, first of all, the intro, the Stan Lee intro, was amazing. Okay.
With the panels
freaking
and stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They should keep that. But Brie was absolutely boring to me. Some of the time she talked, she sounded like Ben Stein. She was like, and I was like, oh my god, seriously. But Samuel L. Jackson was funny as hell. I like Digimon Hansu, but he didn't really have much of an impact. Neither did Lee Pace. Give him a chance. Hot. Not in this movie. But she's hot. But she's hot. But she's hot.
Okay.
Clark Gregg was kind of, I like him too as Agent Coulson, but he, it didn't make much of an impact. Jude Law was there.
Yeah.
But the cat was really funny. But again, like I told him, Talos, Ben Mendelsohn, was by far my favorite character, and I was really shocked by because if I was going to hear him talk, I was going to be like, oh, they're going to make him say something stupid. But literally everything he said either made me laugh or made me stay into the movie. And as far as the universe goes, I thought the movie was passable, so I'm gonna get it just to put it in the collection. And I would put this down with the Dark World as two of the lower ones for me. But you had to watch this. It was a huge part, surprisingly enough, that what happens next. And I am excited about what happens next, obviously for Endgame. But as far as this movie goes, I'll probably stick with a C minus. I'm just glad it wasn't worse, I guess. I mean, it was what it was. I'm not saying Brie Larson, I didn't like her because of what she did, because I still don't know what she did. I haven't read into it. Okay, whatever. But could they have recast her as somebody else? I don't know. We'll never know. But I'm going to give her hope in Endgame.
Yeah. One other thing I'm going to throw out there that actually might help this actually be better is until the actual end credits, it's just set in the 90s and it's just set there, and that this is like where it would be is like the Marvel timeline when you watch it. So if you actually just stop when the movie ends, you can put it like right there. What is it? Right before Iron Man.
Yeah.
And in front and right after Captain America, because and I think that actually would make it better, because then you're like, yeah, who's the Creed and stuff like this, and who's that character, and then you see him again in Guardians, and you're like, oh, I know that. That's the way it'll be made better. It's going back is what hurt it. So yeah, and moving on from that, we got a sprawling, action-packed thing, Captive State.
Oh my God.
I think we can easily keep this as the short as possible. So yeah, here's my small snippet of Captive State. Really good casting, really well thought of idea, horrible execution, horrible writing, cared about none of these characters. John Goodman is always the bright thing in everything. D.
Oh God. I mean,
You want to divulge more than
I'm
that?
not going to. Just the trailer portrayed it as something, okay, it might be alright, it's sci-fi. And then when you start watching it, you're like, okay, maybe it'll start building up, maybe it'll get a little better. It got worse. I was sitting there trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and then of course, maybe once or twice I was like, oh, I dozed off. Shit. Didn't miss anything. Okay. And then John Goodman, he was serviceable. He's a good actor, but I'm gonna give it an F.
Wow. Okay.
It just bored the hell out of me, and movies like that I just do not like. So that's definitely going to my worst of the year. Not worst, but into the worst.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
There's plenty of time.
There's plenty of time.
It could get knocked out, and I was like, oh my God, hope, whatever. Bad.
Angry Birds 2. So man, my existence right now. But you know what? We're moving on from that to something that we were really looking forward to. If you saw Get Out and thought that was an amazing film and thought, would you thought it was Jordan Peele the comedian? Probably not. Guess what? It was up for Best Picture, one Best Adaptation, one Best Writing. So his next film, Us. Highly anticipated, no matter pretty much who you are, if you're a film goer, because going from Best Picture to your next film, what's your sophomore one going to be like?
Yeah, there's a lot of people talk about the sophomore jinx. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So he kind of, to me, went from a social commentary with horror elements from Get Out to now a horror film with some social conscious. Um, this was definitely way more of an actual horror film because there was, more violence, more action. But guess what? What was not lost? The writing and character development which is what Jordan Peele has been really good at. And again, he constantly is looking for great actors. That's all he wants to work with. And I'm sorry, he's not going to be in one of his films. He doesn't like how he acts. He's made that clear, and he's not remaking anything. And to be fair, if these are the way it's going, I'm all on board. This is like the new Quentin Tarantino for me right now. Him doing his own thing.
I agree.
Gosh, I'm terrible at pronouncing some of these names.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, very sorry. She was amazing in this. Her transformation and just the tear ducts that she has, I was just like, what?
I want to know how she does the voice. Okay.
Oh yeah, because here's the thing: everybody in this has two roles technically. They have to play themselves as one character and then as another, which is a whole other commentary about with nature versus nurture. What was the big guy's name?
Winston Duke.
Winston Duke.
Which is weird. Excuse me for interrupting him.
Yeah.
He goes from
Black Panther,
big M'Baku, this menacing man, the king of the gorillas and apes, to this really funny.
Who actually is my favorite character in Black Panther. Goes to this kind of laid back and kind of funny cracking dad. Then he has to be like this giant oaf that's threatening.
Yeah.
There's way too much to try to divulge into everything because even though this is not exactly like Get Out as far as with so much commentary that you have to look for, it's still the rewatchability on this is super high as far as trying to connect and see all these things. But the acting is great, the writing is awesome, the horror suspense is really good. If there was one little nick I put on this, and I have to just nitpick, I saw the twist coming because I just was like, no, it didn't end there. However, it just leads to more commentary about this, so I'm happy, and this was one of the biggest horror openings in a while, as far as box office. So, Jordan, please keep on making these. If you even do another genre, I don't care. Your name's attached. I'm going. I'm gonna give Us an A.
Yeah. Anybody that knows me out there knows how much of a fan of Jordan Peele I am. From his days, doing Mad TV, Key and Peele, to Get Out, I thought, he'd had a great career, and then, it's like, okay, this is a sophomore movie, we'll see how it goes. Highly anticipated going into it. I went out of the theater seeing fire trucks because it was that fire. Woo!
Yes, it lit our...
No, it was friggin' awesome. Where do you even start? Lupita Nyong'o and Winston Duke had really good chemistry together and separately. Winston Duke did have kind of M'Baku sounds too, because the communication he had. I'm just gonna put it there of when his clone,
if we do something, we might get flagged.
Yeah. So, anyways, Elizabeth Moss was really good from *Handmaid's Tale*. She's in it. The kids were good. What was their names? Evan and Shahadi. I don't know if this is both their first movies. But if it is, regardless of not knowing it's the first movie or not, I thought they did a great job.
I have not looked into it yet, but I think I saw there was another theory about the son.
Oh.
And I think that's what you might be if you think about what was the twist, there might be something there.
There's been a lot of depictings of how the movie went and, the ending and all that stuff, and then they tell you have to see it 2, 3, or maybe even 4 times to get everything, which is awesome. I like movies like that. Jordan Peele knocked us out of the park. His future projects are looking pretty awesome too. With his Twilight Zone and possibly. Does he produce Candyman?
He's producing.
Okay, well,
So
he is
he's
involved.
not directing.
He is involved. So
but hey, he was producer of Black Klansman too.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. But the cool thing about this movie is, you're watching it and you're like, oh my god, what is going to happen next? Again, love movies like that. Love this movie. It's my movie of the year so far, and I'm going to give it an A. It is really close to an A+, though. I debated A+, A, but it is my movie of the year so far.
Okay, really quick. Against Get Out.
Oh, God. My God. I don't remember when I get out.
Pretty sure it was your favorite of the year.
It was my favorite of the year.
It was probably an A+.
That's close, man. We're going to have to go into a whole...
episode
on that. I gotta think about that.
We'd have to watch them like back to back.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd have to watch them, because they're so different.
Yeah.
You'd think they're the same, but they're totally different.
So.
Oh, I have a movie that you didn't see.
Oh, what was that?
What was it?
Well, that's how memorable
hang on.
it was.
Yes, it was. I'm forgetting. It's the second one. Happy Death Day 2. Sorry.
Oh, Happy Death Day 2.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, obviously, if I forget it, it wasn't that great. It is literally the same thing as the first one. Easy to see who the villain was. He's predicted, and
I heard there's time travel involved.
Yes, there's a time machine involved, and I guess that's the only difference, really. I mean, I didn't see anything different from that. I guess this one's a tad better, but the first one was C- or D, and this one was maybe a C- as well. So I don't really recommend it.
Well, here's like the one question I'll give you. So the one thing that even if I didn't care for Happy Death Day that much, one thing that I did actually go with out of it going is that Jessica Raab actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
Was she at least good in this?
Yeah.
Because right now I would want to see her in more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you should probably see this movie once. To compare it to the first one, I guess, if you were ever going to do something like that. So I give it a solid C-. I don't know. It's forgettable. I think it was a Sunday, and Russell's like, "Yeah, let's go see it." Okay, whatever.
And yet, here I was just sitting on my ass.
Oh yeah.
So now we move into something we just recently saw as far as last night, and that's Disney's remake of Dumbo with Tim Burton. Or should we call this Tim Burton's Dumbo? Or should we even call this Dumbo? Because he's barely even in it.
I love Dumbo.
Okay, so just as a brief thing, going back to the original 1941 Dumbo animated. I get it. I get the crows. I get some of the racist things in it. However, there's still a solid emotional connection that you have with Dumbo, and especially with his mom. It's really well animated. The mouse that he forms the friendship with, I thought was really nice and really well done. Dumbo has also been compared to be the Mad Max of Disney characters, because he's the title character, but everything happens around him, and he doesn't talk because he's a baby.
It's not embarrassing.
So I rewatched the original right before we saw this, and I was just like, yes, I see those racist things, but to be fair, as a kid, I didn't watch it going with that. I watched it going, hey, those crows are kind of cool. However, now I can't stop seeing that. The pink elephant scene, kind of one of the more traumatizing things from Disney, because it's really creepy and really weird at some points. But if you're high, it's amazing. And it's barely over an hour. It would barely be able to get into the theaters nowadays with how long it is. So you already
hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, you take a story like this, and you do this. There's going to be so much filler because this is like almost 2 times as long.
Yeah, it was almost 2 hours.
Which, why? And why would you pick this? Is my first 2 questions. And then you're like, Tim Burton's going to direct it. Well, I do have an appeal for Tim Burton. However, lately you're really hit and miss with me. And when you do Disney stuff like Alice in Wonderland, you're a miss.
Oh my God!
And
Why don't you get me started on that crap?
And guess what? You're a miss again because I didn't like this movie. Because as I stated, where was Dumbo? He's barely really even in it. It becomes way more about the humans and about the kids and business decisions, and the circus is falling apart. Then Keaton comes in out of nowhere. You know what this really strikes me as? Same thing that the Transformer franchise did. And you don't learn from that. The one thing that the few things that I'll give this that I have to stretch for is if you have kids, they're gonna think it's cute. They might have a good time. Dumbo is cute in it. However, it was kind of hard for me to get that much into it because I was seeing so much crap around him. The one homage that I kind of liked that they did from the original, as far as having it but not do the exact thing, was the stork in the beginning. The stork literally brings Dumbo in the cartoon because, woohoo, storks bring babies. But instead they had a stork like land on it and then looks at Mrs. Jumbo and flies away. And that's when she has Dumbo. As far as this, yeah, not great acting, especially by the kids. Because as we can see, Tim Burton can't direct kids. And a movie called Dumbo, not really featuring Dumbo at all. I'm gonna give this a D. Maybe even a D minus. No, I'm gonna lean towards D minus.
Huh.
This is on my worst of the year list so far.
Yeah, kind of disappointing. I was.
And like you, I started to fall asleep at some points.
A little scared going in. Like Tim Burton, done a lot of great stuff. But it seemed really crowded to me around Dumbo.
Not that there's already crowding around him.
I know, and then obviously the overstretched story was a huge issue. They added a lot of unnecessary stuff. The acting wasn't that great. Danny DeVito and Michael Keaton, Eva Green, Colin Farrell. They've all done good stuff, but this was not one of them.
And this is the first time that DeVito, Keaton, and Burton got back together.
Yeah. Since that good stuff they did in the 90s. Yeah, Dumbo was really cute. I will give it that. Fell in love with him, but then didn't get much of him. So, I fell in love with him. And it's like, oh, crap. He's not on screen anymore. But I thought when he was flying around the circus part of the tent, I thought that was pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, I was pretty bored with it. Like 2 hours long from an hour movie. Doesn't work out most of the time, if at all. I can't really recollect anything that's worked like that. But unfortunately, it didn't hit any marks with me. And yeah, I'm gonna have to put it down about the D area.
D for Dumbo.
D for Dumbo, and like I said, I loved Dumbo at the time he was on camera, but it wasn't enough, and it's unfortunate because he's so cute. But yep, that was a miss. That just leads into the big weekend we have coming up.
Yeah. However, we still have 2 more Disney remakes coming, and that's Aladdin and Lion King. I'm gonna say I'm terrified of both.
Yep.
I wanted to say that I was looking forward more to one, but no, that's not true. because it's two different things. It's Lion King, which technically is not a live action remake. It's just CGI'd.
The fact that they announced that it was live and then showed it the trailer like that just immediately throws me off and is like, wow, you just deceived all of us.
And I don't mean to disrespect, but I don't care who you've casted. I love Donald Glover. I love most of the cast. I love Seth Rogen. You still yet bring back James Earl Jones. Even though technically, I'm pretty sure if you're using the same script, you could just ADR what he said in the animated. But second of all, live action remake of Lion King. It already exists. It's called Hamlet, people. And then Aladdin.
I had not seen the new preview until yesterday.
The stage and stuff and the costume designs look nice. But here's the thing. Like Lion King, you can recast almost the whole thing and maybe not lose much. There's one performance that's remembered in Aladdin. It's Robin frickin' Williams. Nobody ever talks about pretty much anything else but Robin. And because he's passed away, you then cast Will Smith. I hope he just tries to do his own thing. But from what last I heard, the script wasn't that much different.
Is Jafar in the trailer?
Yes, he is. He's the one that tells him.
Oh my God, that's Jafar.
Yes.
Oh no.
And did you hear his voice?
No, I probably wasn't paying attention to it. But
he's like, "Go fetch me the lamp." Does that sound like Jafar to you?
I did. Obviously, if I didn't know Jafar was in the trailer and he was, and
he's like walking down the corridor with a staff.
Yeah.
But the next big question for me in the trailer was, is there a giant Iago? Because that's the other thing we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But getting off topic now. Disney, you're owning everything, so we're gonna have to critique everything. So yeah, that has been a quick dozen, quickish, I guess.
Yeah.
Very roller coaster, wasn't it? It was like how, and then medium.
Hopefully the rest of the year's.
I'm not that. What do we got next week coming out?
Next week is Shazam, Pet Sematary, and Beach Bum.
I'm excited for Shazam. I'm worried about Pet Sematary, and I'm hopeful for Beach Bum. So yeah, this has been fun. Where can they find you at, Nick? On your give us some plugs, because I know you have a bit more that you could now.
It's been a while.
But depending on.
Yeah, I guess just Nick Wood on Facebook, Nickers_Chicken87 on Instagram, Nickers_Chicken on Twitter. I don't care about Snapchat or any of that. Nickers33 on Twitch, which I'm getting started up, so if you're interested in that,
So basically just follow, but he's not started.
Yeah.
Do you have a time frame where you might actually start? Or you're still just working out the kinks?
Yeah, I'm hoping sometime this summer. Most of the time I've been on my buddy's channel, so I'm hoping to maybe have people like me from that. Maybe they'll come over to our channel. So you have to have like 50 followers to be, officialized, and then start getting subscribers and all that stuff. So hoping in the future it happens, because gaming is awesome.
So basically, you're kind of hoping like a Frasier thing.
Yeah.
You have to be the guest part of it in Cheers, then do the spin-off for Frasier.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think Frasier's better. But that's just me. I am Ian Novak. You can find me at GaioLoco89 on Twitter, Facebook, just Ian Novak. If you want to see me on Instagram, get ready for a mouthful. Ian _ Nudger _ Novak _ 89.
Damn you people for taking his names and him having to do that.
But if you don't want to, I completely understand. I will continue to try to get these videos out as soon as possible. We're working out a few things. But if I'm free enough, I will be getting out videos much quicker now. But if if you get ready, we will be posting up another video soon, because we might have some things to try.
Taste buds. Ready.
See you guys. Please subscribe and give us a like and hit that bell, and you'll get notified.
If you don't, I got two words. No, never mind. I got 2 words for you, but you already know 2 words that is. Anybody?
Trying to think of one that works for this, but
no, yeah,
it's
inappropriate.
It's only a wrestling thing, so I can't work it into this.
Anything
so.
we say within that would be inappropriate because I could think of some things, but I'm not going to.
And one really other quick thing, Whitechapel.
Oh yes.
Go check out the new album.
It's fantastic.
Bye.
Phil Bozeman, I love you.